What do you think of the tea? It's just like the other one. Hello dear friends, we've arrived in Fenghuang. It's the famous birthplace of Guangdong oolongs. We've been here many times before, but, as they say, you have to visit good places again and again. So here we are. The oolongs are now being actively produced. The same processes take place in Moychay. Here, half-made tea is already produced. We can taste it. Some other kinds of tea are being picked right now. For example, these producers don't have Bajian tea picked. The season begins later. Some other farmers have Bajian already made. Soon we'll go to the other factories and we'll see how this tea is made. We'll taste and try some more new teas. There's so many wonderful oolongs made here. It's very similar to Moychay. There's hundreds of great manufacturers. The more you travel, the more you know, and it's good. We've already tried some. I like the Bajian, Huajian. The Lao song is good too. We have more samples to taste. We haven't tried the Ye Shui Zhang yet. The Melangjian is also not ready. It's a semi-finished product, but we'll still try it. They've roasted it according to our recommendations. We're very involved in the process. We choose fresh leaves, explain our preferences, so it's a special order. Not all farmers want to do this. Our company's growing, so we asked them to make tea specially for us. I asked if they have aged teas, but they're focused on wholesale teas, so it's not their priority. But they were glad that I asked. Sometimes they sell them, but they call 1 or 2 year old teas aged. Usually we don't drink freshly made tea. We wait for 1 year at least. The taste becomes more rich and balanced. Guangdong and Moychay teas become better after a year of aging. Many people are interested in this, whether fresh oolongs are better than aged ones. Age is very important for light oolongs from the south of Fujian or Taiwan, but not for roasted oolongs from Guangdong or Moychay. In many cases, aging is a good thing, but some cheaper teas can lose some notes in the aroma after 3 or 4 years aging. But good quality teas improve with aging. Oolongs are a great material for aging. They get better with time. By the way, there are many ceramic manufacturers nearby. Some of them make teaware. I saw this lovely teapot here. It's made of an unusual material. I think that it's similar to Nixing pottery. It has similar properties, but at the same time, it seems to be more dense and less porous. It doesn't absorb aromas. It's more like porcelain. This one looks a bit dirty, but it's very pleasant to touch. It can be a great option if you use porcelain teapots, for example. We don't have much experience of working with Chaozhou ceramics, but I'm sure that sooner or later we'll start buying and selling them. Maybe we'll try and visit a production facility. Here they have some special grades of tea. High-grown or low-grown tea. Almost all the teas from here grow on the Udong mountain peak. Only 4 types of tea grow lower: Melangjian, Ye Shuijian, Dawuye, and Suipian. Suipian is picked and made much later, in winter and spring, and sometimes summer. But the tea made in summer is very cheap. Usually it's made in winter. Right now, they don't have it in stock. The other 3 teas are picked and made in spring. The more expensive teas are grown in the highlands. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. Who's 7 years old? It's me.
Молодец! Ура! С днем рождения!
We're visiting a factory. It's situated very high on the Udong mountain. This is a very famous mountain where the best Fenghuang Dancong is made. The cultivar is called Jingdi. Jingdi means a good friend, and Zhai means a small village or farm. So we can translate the whole phrase as a village of friends. But maybe that's not 100% correct. But I like it very much. It's similar to a friend's place. It's a funny name. All high-grown teas from Guangdong, all bushes, grow by themselves. That is to say, they don't need a lot of care. They don't need any fertilizer, and even no pesticides are used. In this place, as you can see here, they don't use pesticides. The leaves have bug bites. When the farmer uses something to protect the plants, the leaves are clean. This tea isn't cheap. It's a high-grade oolong, a high-grown dancong. And the harvest is not very big, just a couple of trays. They will pick some more, but anyway, this is the harvest. And the flushes are very interesting. Have a look at this bud. I was interested, and I asked about this bud. This is what an open bud looks like. When it's ripe, it opens like this. Very beautiful. Only these flushes are picked. No upper or lower leaves are picked. There's 5 or 6 leaves on each bud. And the leaves are very delicate and soft. And they were harvested, not from a tiny bush, but from a pretty big one. So it's very special. It's evening now and the sun is setting. The harvesting is ending. The landscape looks very steep, with terraces, but the farmers have invented a system that helps them to transport the leaves and other stuff. We saw similar constructions in Taiwan. The pickers have stopped working. Tomorrow the production will start. They're very careful about the weather conditions here. The leaves are picked only once a year. They don't harvest in bad weather. They prefer to wait. But they do their best to pick as many leaves as possible. The weather is great. Everybody has moved to the mountains. It doesn't matter what time it is. Everybody just starts working to pick the tea. The weather is the most important thing. Right now we're picking the tea from this specific cultivar. We saw it getting dry on the trays. There's just a couple of these bushes. They're very young. They're not old. There are bushes down there that are much older. This is the first time that I've ever seen an elevator on a small farm. I must say that they're very well equipped. After the initial drying stage, the leaves are put in here and sent down to the production area. The doors are closed, but this is how they're opened. The leaves are put on trays, and then the trays are sent down through this door. Right now I can feel the stunning aroma of fresh tea. These are the leaves that we saw before on the roof. The leaves are checked and mixed first, which is what the chief technician is doing now. He's using a special table. It revolves, and the tea is gently mixed like this. Tea from the whole tray has to be mixed 2 or 3 times. Very often, I hear people calling this stage Shaigan, but that's not correct. It's actually called Shai Sing, not Shaigan. When the stem of the leaf gets softer and more flexible, the next stage of processing begins. The leaves are mixed, and then they're left to rest, and then the next stage begins. It's interesting. Each craftsman mixes the tea in his unique fashion. Each has their own technique. They touch it very softly, very gently, doing their best not to break the leaves. Well, now this stage is over. The workers are going to have dinner, and we'll be waiting for the next stage to start. It's 7:45 p.m. The next shift starts at 8 o'clock. The other stages start at 10 o'clock, midnight, and 2 a.m. The factory works until the early morning. Then the workers have a couple of hours of sleep. 3 hours usually. Right now we're drinking a special tea. It's called Du Binjiang. Less than 100 gins of these teas are made annually. Only 3 families make it, including our friends. This year, this bag is everything they've made, and it's half processed. It has to go through the final Hongbei stage, and it can reduce after Hongbei even more. The tea is loaded into these huge rollers. It's done very carefully. The rollers are made of bamboo. We'll see the shaking process. And the technician, he's the owner by the way, explains how it's going to be done. It's very slow. After the first rotation, the leaves are checked. It goes very slowly. I asked the owner and it doesn't go faster. They're extremely careful with the leaves. They make sure not to damage or bruise the leaves in any way. And they're very careful on all of the stages we've seen. The rollers are opened, and the leaves are spread evenly inside. They have another batch of tea here. They do it all by hand. There are no spare rollers. As I can see, this tea is even more expensive and exclusive than I thought. They've stopped for a while. One batch was mixed with a roller, the other manually. 11 trays of tea. That's all they have. Now we'll have to wait for at least a couple of hours more. They'll continue working at midnight. The work is extremely slow and painstaking. The care and attention helps to release the aromas gently. I can already feel it. We, the amateurs of tea craft, their humble assistants and students, have been entrusted to do a very important job: to clean the factory. It's pretty messy here. Well, it's not that bad, but the cleaner the better. We have to make it all clean when the masters end their work.